Somebody asked me earlier this week how I could cry out to Jesus, Hosanna, save, one day, and then call out for his crucifixion just a few days later. But it wasn't like that. So much happened in that week, too much for me to handle. Maybe too much for anyone to handle. And I need you to understand that. It was so exciting. I mean, Jesus was coming here, to Jerusalem, to my city. I'd heard of him, I mean, who hadn't? And we all expected that he'd be coming to the festival later in the week, but I never dreamed that I would be one of the people who would actually get to see him. I remember we woke up a little earlier than usual that day. We had so much to do in preparation for the Passover later in that week. My parents woke me saying, Abigail, take your brother and go collect some water. I remember on our way there, we saw these men and they looked like they were about to steal my neighbor's donkey, but when he asked them about it, all they said was, the Lord needs it. I almost dropped my jar of water right there. It was the most exciting news. Jesus was coming.
You ever hate someone with your entire being? That's how I feel about the Romans. That swine had the gall to invade Israel, the land God gave our forefathers. They didn't belong there, and if our kings and priests didn't have the guts to do something about it, we were going to take things into our own hands. Some called us zealots, and we embraced it. That's what we were. Zealous for God, true to the faith, and willing to die for both. We heard about a man in the countryside gathering the people. They called him a Messiah, a prophet, even a king. Now, a king, that's what we need. Someone to kick those Romans out of the country and to gather the people and bring us to victory. When I heard that he was in Jerusalem, I rushed to tell the others. But by the time I told my brothers what was happening, we could already hear the crowds out in the street, singing, shouting, laughing. So we ran down to see this man, this king who would save us all.
I never cared much for prophets. I didn't have anything against them, I just never really had any time for them. I did have time for Ruth, however. Ruth was the daughter of my father's business partner, and I was in love with her since the first moment she came into my father's shop. I spent weeks trying to get her attention, but had no success. And then one day, oh, what a day. She comes into the shop, leans in close, and whispers that our parents had arranged our marriage. I remember her laughing at the look of shock on my face. I was overjoyed. And so naturally, when she invited me down to see this prophet, this Jesus of Nazareth, I agreed. Every moment I was in her presence was full of such bliss that it was easy to get caught up with the crowds as we were all shouting, Hosanna!
Hosanna!
Hosanna to
To the Son of David.